Wouldn't you like to know? Judas fight with Pharaoh. Really have to pray low. Tired of the mainstream media's lies. Listen to the microphone, open your eyes. Judas fight with Pharaoh. Really have to pray low. Really have to pray low.
And aloha, America. Welcome back to the show. The phone lines are open, 800-313-9443, 800-313-9443. Finishing up here with the situation in Israel, it has reached the point right now where Palestinians who live on one side of the security barrier, but their farmlands that they own are on the other side, are not allowed to go through the checkpoints. They're not allowed to go through the border fence. Meanwhile, Israeli farmers and their Thai workers from the settlements are basically farming on the Palestinians' lands. It is that open and blatant what Israel is doing to the Palestinians. Now, just to prove that the first order of business of the brand new Senate, of the 113th Congress, are going to deal with the crushing issues, the important issues of the day that affect all of America. They're apparently taking up an examination of contacts between the Central Intelligence Agency and the producers of the film Zero Dark 30. Horror of horrors. Were there connections between the intelligence agencies and the filmmakers? Yeah, there are. Go back and look at Operation Mockingbird. The CIA and the FBI have been infiltrating filmmaking all along, infiltrating the media to control it. It's no secret that CIA and FBI are in all the movie studios. CIA tried to recruit me when I was at CBS Television City. I was not impressed by them. So it's a non-issue. So what is this all about? Why is the Senate, with so many other things threatening the very future of the United States, why are they making a big deal about this? It's a PR stunt. They're putting up in the news, there may have been CIA involved with the production of the movie, and they're trying to basically build buzz to get people to go see the movie, to see what all the fuss was about. Because so far, the box office has been dismal. They're not going to break even on this. This thing is losing money. And they're pouring more and more money into advertising campaigns, and this Senate investigation about links between the CIA and the filmmakers, it's just there to create buzz, to get people to say, oh, I should see this movie, just to see what the CIA's influence is about. And, of course, the film has already come under tremendous criticism because it attempts to portray torture as necessary and useful, and this is how we got bin Laden. And it's a complete fabrication. Because, first of all, the Pakistanis got this guy, whoever he really was. There'd been an attack by militants. The Pakistanis responded. They attacked the house. And after it was all over and the guy inside was dead, the neighbors were saying, we think that might have been Osama bin Laden. And so that news goes up the chain of command, and Obama or somebody around him said, quick, we got to grab the body so we can look like heroes. So they send in the stealth helicopters. They crash one of them. They grab this guy. It's already being leaked and teased to the news that they got bin Laden. They're flying back. The crew in the helicopter looks at the guy and says, that's not bin Laden. So they dump his body in the ocean, and they release all these very hastily and poorly produced fake photos onto the internet to sell this idea that they got Osama bin Laden, when we all know the real Osama bin Laden, a.k.a. Tim Osman, when he was with the Central Intelligence Agency helping in Afghanistan. The real bin Laden died in late 2001 of natural causes. He was a very, very sick man. The CIA had visited him in the American hospital in Riyadh in July of 2001. And even then he was being accused of all these horrible terrorist attacks. They didn't arrest him. They probably went in and said, Osama, baby, bubby, we're going to make you famous. You think you're famous now. Boy, just go along with this whole thing. We're going to make you even more famous. And so, once again, the government in Hollywood are trying to rewrite history, like they did with that film about Flight 93 and virtually every movie about World War II. And so far, in its selected theater openings, it hasn't done well at all. And now that people are actually seeing it, remember all those glowing pre-release reviews? It's wonderful, it's great, America at its finest, and blah, blah, blah. Now we're actually getting people who've seen the movie going online to post reviews, and they're not very good. So it's a PR stunt. It's a cheap PR stunt to trick Americans into going in and paying their own money to be propagandized about the death of Osama bin Laden. Remember that ludicrous little plastic toy they had of President Obama standing over bin Laden's body? It's nonsense. Obama was nowhere near there. He was in the White House Situation Room. Remember that ludicrous picture they put out there about President Obama and all of his advisors in the Situation Room watching what was going on, and they forgot to turn on the laptops on the desk? It was a stage shot. It's all PR. It's all theater. This government has lived on illusion and lies and fraud and deception and perception management and propaganda. They don't know how to do anything else. I think their motto is, if at first you don't succeed, lie, lie again. But now we, the American people, know that's what they do. They lie about everything. Global warming, Pearl Harbor, torpedoes in the Gulf of Tonkin, Spanish mines in Havana Harbor, and on and on and on and on. We could save ourselves a lot of work by counting how many times the government has told us the plain unvarnished truth. Hands, anybody? Anybody? Bueller? Bueller? No hands. All right, fine. Now, we know that the U.S. government has embarked on this program to maintain this vast computer database on us all, to tie into our universal ID, multipass, whatever you're going to call it, or the little chip they want to stick in us. And they're saying, this will guard us against terrorism. This will do this. This will do that. This will keep illegals from taking your job. Well, that may go anyway, because Obama's immigration agenda is to legalize all the illegal aliens, put them in the workforce to drive wages and salaries down even more here. But there's a study coming out of Great Britain, this is reported in the Daily Mail, that Britain's criminal computer tracking system is full of errors and mistakes, and apparently 12,000 people in that database have been wrongly branded criminals because of inaccuracy in the various police records and the data entry. Nobody's cross-checking. Nobody's making sure that there are no errors. And apparently, publicly people branded criminals, it's a huge problem. And they've had to start making amends to some of these people and say, we're sorry we branded you publicly as a criminal. Here's a few shekels, kopecks, whatever. All these computerized searches for everything, they're fraught with problems. In fact, today I got a second Digital Millennium Copyright Act takedown order for a video, which was not actually on my server, and it never was. As a matter of policy, I do not host videos on my own server, other than the ones I create myself. I will link to other servers. And if somebody has an issue with the copyright material on those remote servers, they should go to those remote servers. But I got this notice, and I wrote back and I said, this video is not on my server. Please go over, and I even provided the URL, and I said, if you've got an issue, go over to this server. It was in France, and deal with them. And I got back a second notice saying, we're going to file suit against SiteGround. And I wrote back and I said, this video is not on my server. And they wrote back a third time and they apologized and said, we're sorry. It's an automated system. And it does make mistakes. And sometimes lawsuits get started because of the errors in the facility. And I think what illustrates just how reckless this has become is there's another website, and was submitted by Anonymous American. And it's a dunce cap situation, because this website uses a pre-built content management system, like I use Drupal. And when you set up Drupal or WordPress or any of these others, there's a default login page that you start with. And apparently, the operators of iPhotographyCourse.com were using the same content system and the same default login page, but they declared it their copyrighted intellectual property, and this second website got a DMCA takedown notice because they're both using the default login provided by their content management system, and one company claims it's their copyrighted content. I mean, that's how silly it is becoming. And I think, well, let me give you this other example of what's going on here. We all know about the patent trolls. Companies will get a patent on something that may already be in existence, but it's just different enough where they get the patent. And now they go around to various entities and saying, well, you're using our patented technology, you must pay us a license fee. And this absurd story, and this came out of consumerist.com. Anybody who uses a scanner to scan a document and then attach it to an email apparently is infringing on the patents of Project Paperless, which somehow got a patent saying that scanning a document and sending it through email was their patented proprietary technology. They're not going to the manufacturers of the scanners, who have millions of dollars and lawyers to fight this with. They're sending out letters to ordinary businesses saying, if you are scanning documents and sending them an email, you have to pay us a licensing fee. That's not what intellectual property rights were supposed to be there. And it illustrates a very disturbing trend in American business that has turned its back on creating new products and instead seeks ways to make additional money on products already in existence by gaming the system here. And it's reaching these ever-increasing heights of utter absurdity. Whoop. Loud noise there means it's time to take a commercial break. We'll be right back.